All right, what's up, everybody? It is Ballietbran. Today, I got a wonderful stream for you. We got the person that is helping with a lot of the Hexican.Vegas meetup, and he's a Vegas native. He's also a Hexican, so I want to hear a little bit about his story. We'll bring him on in just a couple of minutes here. We're going to play the intro, and then we're going to say what's up to Tmoney. He's got the, I think the website is freedomtv.info. It's in the description. And yeah, we'll bring him on in just a minute. Let me play the intro right now.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. Ballietbran.
All right, what's up, everybody? So yeah, thanks for being here. We're going to have Freedom TV on right now, Tmoney. So without further ado, let me bring him on.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, Tmoney?
What's up? I'm representing, Hex.com right there.
I like it, man. Yeah, that's awesome. It's super cool to, I've never been a fan of like logos per se. When I was younger, I kind of wore like the Jordans and the Nike and stuff like that. And then after a while, it's like, all right, I don't care. Just a plain shirt works. But ever since, crypto and Hex came out, it's like, yeah, man, pretty much everything I wear is all.
Oh, I'm going to date myself. So back in my day was Varnet. You wore your OP Varnet shirts, or your Guess shirt, your Abercrombie or Fitch, or what was that other one? Next. I think there was another one called Next or something like that. Anyways, that's old school.
Yeah, I know Richard's king of doing like some of the brand names, like the just the higher end stuff, like the Louis Vuitton, like he had the other day, Versace and stuff like that. But
right here, LV, that's not Louis Vuitton, that's Las Vegas, baby. That's a whole other brand in itself.
Dude, totally. Yeah, there's a lot that we can kind of just go over and casually talk about. I mean, I know. Is that correct that you're native to Vegas, right? You and your brother and whatnot?
That's correct. We grew up here in Vegas. Pretty much since I was 3 years old, grew up in Vegas, born in San Diego, and parents moved here, and we've been here ever since, pretty much. And we have a business here. We're in the recycling business, actually. So commodities, I understand a lot. So, commodity markets, when to buy, when to sell. I mean, that was our game, right? So we did it all the way old school, where we call up brokers but by the phone. We had our beeper back in the day, and we would get beeped on the prices. So
that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
It's now it's different. You got a computer now, and it's all streamlined, and things are a lot different from back then. So, I remember I had the brick phone, right? And I had my bill was like, our bill was maybe like $800 a month.
Whoa.
Back in the day. Oh yeah. Jeez. Yeah. And people complain about $100 per month on their phone bill, their cell phone bill and their data plan. Yeah. back then when it was that big brick, it was like $800 a month.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, no, it's definitely cool that when Maddie, I know he was the one that hosted the Hexican.Vegas, which was like January 6th through the 9th and whatnot. But then when he announced with RG3 that he was going to host it in person and whatnot, that got me like really excited because I was watching the stream and I was like, all right, never been to Vegas, but I can't say no to this. Like shit, I have to go and say what's up to everyone. So
dude, it's off the hook. Vegas is a very unique place, very international. So, and then you got the gambling part, and so trading is gambling. I could tell you all kinds of symbiotic relationships there. Usually the house wins all the time. So when you're you're in exchange and you're trading, usually it's the exchange that wins. So they're the house. So nice.
No, that's true. I mean, it's so interesting when Maddie and yourself were talking about trading and Hex and gambling and slot machines, and it's funny because Hex is like the opposite of trading. It's like the pay yourself in the future, and you have the like nothing is a guarantee in life per se, but since the contract is audited and locked and whatnot, at least if 100% of people stake, you're guaranteed to pretty much get like a 3.69% interest
right
APY. So it's it'll be fun, man. It'll be fun to experience everything in Vegas. I know the weather's going to be pretty hot, and everything else is going to be pretty cool too.
Yeah, there's just three levels of hot in Vegas. Okay, so you'll know what there's hot as hell and extra crispy. So definitely you want to put your SPF right when it gets extra crispy in the daytime. And the nighttime you can wear shorts and stuff like that. It's off the hook. You can go to the pool parties. They're in the daytime, and then they'll convert in the nightclub in the nighttime. So it's a party town. You come to party. That's what you do. And we're all 100% open, so you don't have to wear masks as long as you had your injection, your vaccine. Mm-hmm. Have your card, to show that you did get your vaccine if they do ask. It's on the honor system right now, so if you're afraid of coming out, because if vaccine, get vaccinated if you want. If not, that's okay. Still wear your mask on. Everybody's pretty, and then they're still practicing social distancing in the casinos, but pretty much everything else is open. So all the casinos are open, full. The whole strip's open again. So that's all good news. So if you have all that pent up, stay at home thing going on, you want to get into Vegas right now. So that's the place to be. So, it's June 24th through the 27th. That's our Hexican meetup. We got a lot of stuff planned for you. You can go to Hexican.Vegas. That's the website. You can follow our itinerary. You can register. It's $60 to, I believe, or $65. Don't quote me on that, because Maddie's the one that's handling that part through Eventbrite. So get your shirt. You'll get a shirt with it. You get a lanyard. You'll get a mask, and it says Hex on it. Right there, that's $60, right? But we pushed the envelope through my contacts in the group to contacts all the Hexicans here in Vegas. We have a small group of Hexicans. We're about 25 strong here in Vegas and growing. So a lot of them are going to be volunteers. So we're going to have our shirts. They look like this, and it's going to have the Vegas, on the back, Vegas team on the back. So if you see us out there, we're going to meet you at the airport. So you can feel like family. So you're not like all alone and you're like, what the hell am I doing here, man? I don't know. I'm in a small fish, big pond. No. So you're you're with the Hexican family. So you can really enjoy yourself. We have a lot of things planned events that you can really connect with, and there's a lot of the influencers are going to be there. Hexican influencers are going to be there. Like, well, I believe Wells Only already registered. Maddie's going to be there. You are going to be there, right, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm totally going to be there. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I'm going to be there. My brother Lewis is going to be there. So look for us. You can't miss us because we're the ones with the hex shirts on. Pretty much, we got you great hotel deals on at the Aria in the Bellagio. You don't have to register with us; like it's fine. You can do your own. But we got you guys mad discounts on your hotel room, and there's a link to register straight up with the website at MGM. So it's a link that goes straight into there. So we don't collect any of that money or anything like that. That goes straight to the hotel. You make your reservation straight with the hotel room. Also, all of our venues, we have discounts also on the alcohol and also on the entrance fees. So, for example, we're going to be at the Marquee nightclub. Your entrance, there's no coverage for us. For the Hexicans, make sure that you have your lanyard for that event. It is attire you want to dress up for nightlife. And so if you want table service, you can go. There's a link in the Hexican.Vegas, and you can order your own table service and bottle service for that night. So also we're going to crush a car at Battlefield Vegas. Come and see that spectacular. So and also we're going to take a big selfie at the Hex Bar and Grill. That's right at the Paris Hotel and Casino. There's actually a Hex Bar and Casino. Can you believe that? So, but it's
that's awesome, man.
XS, because 2 X's though. Isn't that awesome?
I like it. It's cool. Yeah, it's there's going to be a lot to do, and the amount of people that are going is pretty shocking. Like, I don't do you know maybe the total amount? It's like 100.
Yeah, right now I believe the last count we had, and Maddie has that count. However, the last one that he told me, we had 180 plus people registered. So, I mean, and that's from everywhere, like from East Coast, Midwest, Northwest, here from Southern Cal. We got people from international coming in too. So, from Germany, Switzerland.
Yeah.
I think some people from Australia is coming in. So that would be nice. So
I'm excited, man. It's cool. I know we talked a little bit on the phone before the stream a few hours ago, and it was really cool because RG3 was the only Hexican I got to meet because he was just close to Seattle, so we got some food and whatnot. But to have like 180 Hexicans, that's a lot of people, and so it's nice that we've kind of just built relationships and whatnot just from streaming over the weeks and the months and the years and whatnot, and so. To have that many people in one group, it's going to be like there's a lot of Bitcoin conferences and crypto conferences, but this is going to be like our own separate class. And so, especially with the shirt that you have, like the cool thing that I like about the shirt you have is I've made my own shirts before, like direct to Garmin and stuff like that. But with the thing that you have on the back, the QR code where you can actually scan it, like that's really cool.
Yeah. So you can scan it. So if anybody asks you, you're walking around, you got your shirt on, they can just scan it, and then it goes straight to hex.com, and they can read all about it. You can teach them how to onboard, right? If they want to onboard right there, download their MetaMask or whatever, right? So, we're just trying to create a buzz, right? And it's a meetup. It's not a conference, really. It's not really. We don't have any guest speakers or anything like that. It's just chill, relaxing. People, talking back and forth. We got the gorgeous ladies of Hex coming out, which is really nice. So, be there, right? You want to be in the know. So, come on down. You can drive down. You can fly down. You can, come on your skateboard. Whatever you want to do.
No, yeah, seriously. And I know similar to the online Hex conference, that this plans to be like an annual event. So even if you can't make it for the first one, people can definitely make it for the second and kind of expect that as an event. So because the cool thing about Hex is I've never met more people internationally and like around the world and all these different accents and whatnot. So to think that so many people were able to make it out to Vegas this time, and next time I think it's going to be like exponential growth where next time it's even more, and yeah, we're going to need like stadiums to fit all the Hexicans in the future.
That is my dream, is to rent out the T-Mobile arena and have a big rave there.
Dude, I'm down. That sounds
That's
fun.
where the Golden Knights play. If nobody knows what that is, the T-Mobile arena. So that'd be awesome, right? So
seriously, and we actually got like a few Hexican DJs. I mean, I know Tarnwig, he was talking about DJ Cryptomatic. He does a whole bunch of music and whatnot, and so yeah, it'd be cool that to have like a couple DJs. Kind of just curate some of the music and stuff like that. So
absolutely,
definitely gonna be a good time.
So if people like EDM music, right? So right, that's my favorite, EDM music, and house music, and hip hop, the old school hip hop. Yeah, I'm going back now.
No, it's cool, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess if since this is the first time you've been on, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but if maybe, I know you're a Hexican, but if maybe you want to like introduce just the people that are watching that might not have heard your story before, like maybe tell them how you got into crypto,
Bitcoin
and then
crypto.
how you got into to Hex, and then how you found out about
so it was back in 2000. I want to say 2000, like late 12, early 2013. It was one of my friends. He was kind of he's a programmer. He's kind of a nerd, kind of sort of thing. We would talk all the time, and he goes, "Hey, have you heard about Bitcoin?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And so, we were talking, and he sold me $100 worth. So I gave him $100 bill, and he put it on my phone. It was the iPhone 4. So I'm kind of dating myself, right? So, so that's what, it was in my phone through some kind of app I had to download or something. And then, and it used it as a lottery. It was like some kind of lottery. And, yeah, right. We're the new nerds. So, so we're so I don't know. I was doing the lottery thing, and I think I maybe like out of that $100, I used maybe 50 of it, and then I kind of got bored of it because it was just repetitive, and so I didn't even know if I was winning money or losing money. I had no clue. I was so ignorant in the whole thing. So so I don't know. I forgot about it. Didn't know anything about it. And he calls me up again, like maybe a year and a half later. He's like, "Hey, dude, do you still got that Bitcoin in the app?" And I go, "Yeah, I think so." So I had to dig up my old phone still, like, the iPhone 4. I'm so glad I kept it. And so sure enough, I had 1.25 Bitcoin or something like that. And,
nice.
And it went up in price. And so, but the thing is that back then there was no exchanges, like Coinbase was not even around. And, I'm talking 2014, 15, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. So I had to what I had to do was go to, Craigslist, right? And I said, "Got Bitcoin for sale." And someone called, a bunch of people called me up, and based on how they talked and if they were shady or not, and they were for real, right? So we met at the Bank of America bank, and they're in the parking lot, and I showed them on my phone, "Yes, here's Bitcoin." And we had to haggle the price right there. It was showing, I think it was it was at the time, it was almost maybe $1,000 plus. It was going up in price. I don't even remember when it was. And he's I'm like, "Okay, so I think it's $4,000, and then he goes, no, give me $800. No, and we went back and forth, and I think we settled on $30. It was $3,200. So I showed him. He went in the bank, got cash out in the parking lot. Then, of course, I had to go to his phone, right? And we're waiting for the transaction to clear. And we were like the awkward 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes, right? It was very awkward. Hey, so what do you do? What do you do for a living? And like, okay, I got it, right? So he got it. Then he handled me the money. And it was like, I didn't want to be shady, right? So, and he's like, okay, cool. You're honest, great. It's like, all right. So it was awkward. I was like, I don't want to do that again, right? So imagine you were like a millionaire doing $1 million transaction or $100,000 transaction or 50. I didn't want to go through it again. I was like, oh, it's like, and then not was taking in Bitcoin. You had to find things, different projects and whatnot. So, I bought some more. Let me see. In 2016, my brother's like, hey, a lot more exchanges. That's when Coinbase came out, I believe. Back in 2016, 17, I'm not sure exactly. And so we signed up back then. We were like one of the first people to sign up. There was these changes like the hit, right? Or hit BTC, right? That was an exchange that we were on. Polynex, Binance, Kraken. So we started signing up on all these exchanges and buying all kinds of alternative coins. We really went hard and deep with Bitcoin. I don't know if anybody knows BTC. It ran up. It did a big pull. We got in when it was like $50 per BCC, and in like 8 months it went to $800. I'm glad I dumped my bag before there was a rug pull. And it was like people got decimated, and it was like, oh my gosh! Even my family, I had them in there, and I was like, oh my gosh! And of course, back then there was no smart contracts, they were barely coming out, right? Like smart contracts, and your MetaMask just came out with their wallet, and I had a mycelium wallet. I don't know, I'm kind of dating myself, right? And Bitcoin.
Never heard of that one, but yeah.
Yeah, huh? What?
Oh, I've never heard of the mycelium wallet.
Yeah, it was called mycelium wallet. That's where it's a cold storage, right, wallet.
Oh, okay, nice.
So as time went by, things just changed, got better. I think we're kind of pretty juicy, right? I feel this is like, the internet all over again. Like, because I lived through it. I was in college. I was my freshman year. And for the first time, I saw the internet. Like, oh my gosh, you had a telnet in. I don't know if I'm dating myself, right? The big explorers, right? You got the search engines. Was Lycos, Magellan, Netscape, right? They're not even around.
I've heard of that one at least, yeah.
Yeah, Netscape. They're not even around anymore. So, Google came out, and so they have the portal. So I feel that's what's going to go on more, where you got your Coinbase, Binance, all the exchanges, the centralized exchanges. They're gonna be more of the portal, like Google, right? They're going to control the money flow of, from dollars to your crypto world, and crypto world back to dollars, right? So
right.
They're definitely going to control that part.
Yeah,
because crypto is here to stay. I don't care what people say. They can't stop this. They got to pull the plug on the whole internet for it to. That's unfathomable. So I don't see that's happening. So, I don't know if you heard, but even the Fed announced that they're coming out with their white paper for their own coin. in August.
I heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I know like USDC and whatnot is pretty tied in with like JP Morgan and stuff like that, and seems to be kind of like a digital dollar type deal. But yeah, you're definitely right. There is no shortage of people and countries and nations coming into crypto, and it's one of those things like you mentioned that like in Identity Block he mentioned in the chat, and I'll say hi to the chat in a few minutes, but he had kind of mentioned like, oh, Mt. Gox crashed in 2014, and
Yep.
you know, Bitcoin was really popular for like the Magic the Gathering and stuff like that, but
Right.
like you mentioned, there was just not as many onboarding and offboarding ramps or websites that you could do when it was earlier days, and now it seems to be getting the infrastructure itself seems to be, you know, getting laid down properly, and seems to be you know, advancing and stuff like that. But just some of the like cryptos themselves, you could almost kind of like equate to like that Netscape or like dial-up, like as far as like Bitcoin and whatnot, it seems
Right.
to be pretty like antiquated, man. Like, you know, not to be the guy that's just like constantly trashing it, but just from like not from a performance price performance, but like just a technology perspective. The stuff that you can do with it is more so limited than say like Ethereum and Hex. So it's cool at least that we've got like different iterations and generations of crypto coming out. So.
I mean, just look at the gaming, right? Gamers, right? So, I mean, I'm dating myself. I had an Atari 2600. Okay.
Nice.
I still love it. I still love my Atari 2600, right? I mean, that's like, to me, that's Bitcoin, right? And then Nintendo came in and it was like, oh my gosh, Nintendo. That's to me like in Ethereum, right? So hopefully there'll be PlayStation, right? There's going to be an Xbox down the road. Who knows what kind of technology is going to come out in the future in Bitcoin and the crypto space, right? So, you know, it's, you know, you got all these platforms coming out, and then you got these layer twos coming out with in the Ethereum space. So like Matic and, you know, Binance Coin or Network. Well, that's why I'm excited about Pulse, because it's like, it's a layer two, right? So kind of like, and more too. So it's going to do a lot more.
Yeah, it's going to be like a layer one, like, yeah, proof of stake and stuff like that. But no, you're definitely right about like everything that is being developed with layer two and stuff like that will be able to be ported over. And that's one of the cool things about what Richard is doing is with Hex, he copied the, you know, pretty much the bank's like CD, certificate of deposit, a time lock and stuff like that, which is like the most, I think it's like second or third most popular product at the bank. And then with for the solution for the gas fees and for Hexicans and Ethereans, being able to fork, you know, the second most popular cryptocurrency by market cap, you know, Ethereum. I think that's really cool. And to your point, as far as like the proof of staking and stuff like that, I think that the system itself it's just like if you were to have like multiple browsers, like, oh, I like Chrome, I like Brave, I like Firefox. Like it's kind of like a multi-chain when you mention, you know, Binance or Matic or some of these other things. Like there's going to be not necessarily like one, you know, controlled centralized thing, in my opinion, that rules everything. I think it'll be like everyone kind of has their own thing, but it might go through different backbones and routing.
Right. So, you know, I mean, that's why I'm excited about Pulse, because it's going to onboard. It's one of the biggest airdrops, right, in history. So if you like the Uniswap airdrop, right, this is going to be off the hook. So, you know, I'm in the place where I tell people go long. I mean, that's the best way. It's proven. I mean, because I come from a recycling commodities background, banking background. It's always been proven when you go long, it's better. You know, you DCA, and you only cash out really your assets only if you really you're going to exchange it for another asset class, or you got an emergency as like I need money right now, and I gotta get in this deal, or I gotta clear something up. You know what I mean? But see the money game as a whole, that's why I'm T-Money, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the name of the game is accumulating assets. So crypto is just another asset class. So you got stocks, bonds, crypto, your properties, your house, your cars, your boat, your motorcycle. That's all assets, right? Your gold and your silver, your paper, your contracts, your royalties. All those are different asset classes, right? And you want to hold on to them to dear life. I mean, you don't want them, you don't want to pry them, no, don't let them go. Hold, you hodl,
Right.
all of that stuff. Why? Because the only time you sell them is like because you're going to get from one asset class to another. For example, you sell your bike or your boat. You sell a boat for maybe some crypto or from some stocks or Tesla stock or something like that. Apple stock, right? Because you're always going to always own it, right? And so you're in control, and you want to be in control of it. You don't want some other central banking institution or third party to be in control of it. That's why we're called freedomtv.info. It's all about creating freedom that be even fire, fire.
You're so right, Tmoney, about the actual assets, right? There's a difference between asset and liability, and most people they're not taught about finance and economics in school and stuff like that. Even when you go to like business school, like a lot of it's just kind of like theory and it sounds great in practice, but what is the actual reality of how it works? And so when you mentioned the actual assets working for you, that's one of the most beautiful things about Hex. Like you mentioned, not only is it very cypherpunk where you own the private keys and you're the one that mints the interest. There's no counterparties, right? With things like with other conveniences in life, you mentioned things like, it doesn't have to be this way, but things like Matic or some of these other things that are like really convenient, but they kind of come with the cost where they might bite you or they have the chance to kind of bite you. Whereas opposed to as far as Hex goes, and like you mentioned, you're able to hold on to that asset and even have it in cold storage while it accumulates interest.
That's
and
correct.
So it's to your point about kind of not spending all your money on things that aren't going to work for you, but to hodl, like you mentioned, the stuff that will.
Yeah, your money wants to be like you want your assets to be like your soldiers. They go out and they make more, right? So they print money. That's why we were talking about the T-shares, right? T-shares are so valuable because they're like little money printers. You're getting, I believe, an average of 5 to 6 hex per day per T-shirt.
It's amazing. Amazing.
That's weird. I mean, I'm a very skeptical guy, right? And so the first time I got into Hex, so I didn't know how it worked. I had to figure things out. I went into the transformation phase, right? We transformed our ETH to Hex, to newly minted Hex. And then after that was over, I did a monthly ladder. At first, I didn't do a yearly ladder. I was doing monthly ladders for 365 days, and built that up first because I didn't know. I was like, and the greatest thing about Hex is that it is transparent. The only thing is not transparent is the price, because you don't know. You don't know if it's the price tomorrow is, going to be 5 cents, 6 cents, 25 cents. I don't know. We don't know. So that's how you kind of hedge your bets, by creating these ladders, right? So I have monthly ladders every month. It took me a whole year to accumulate, right? Accumulation phase of this ladder. And then now on May 3rd, so I came in on May 3rd of last year. And so now May was my first, now it's every month I'm, it's maturing. So, and with those, I just rolled it over to, I finally did my new 555s after it was in January, right after the big payday, right? So I did that 555. I wished I did it before that. My brother did. It's funny, he did one before payday. I thought he was crazy. I was like, you're crazy. But now I could see he was right. I was wrong. He was right. I got to give it up to him. My hat. So he was the guy that said, "See, here's the 555." I think they gave him like 10 T-shirts for that. So
Nice.
and it's just been growing and growing and growing. That stake has been growing. That's his best stake is the 555, the quadruple fives. So
Well, yeah, and I know we kind of talked about it earlier when it comes to crypto in general. Like, X is not the only thing in crypto that can kind of like generate yield, right?
Right.
There's other things that people use, whether it's centralized or smart contracts and whatnot. But the cool thing about Hex is that it pays you out in Hex. It's not like a USDC or DAI or Ethereum or BTC. The cool thing about it, like you mentioned, is especially if you do kind of have those. You've been rug pulled in crypto. You've been in crypto long enough to know that, hey, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on here.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that, like I try to tell people, like, sure, it's a cryptocurrency, but it's more of a smart contract than it is a cryptocurrency, because that is kind of what you are trusting is those under 3,000 lines of code. And the way that it's consolidated, you don't have to trust Richard. You don't have to trust anyone. And the thing that's awesome also about Hex is, you mentioned like the only thing that's not transparent per se is the price. Well, it's been nice that as Bitcoin, it went from like 10,000 to 65,000, its most recent high. Well, when that took a haircut to today, like 30 something thousand, Hex had ran up like 5x before Bitcoin took the haircut. And then when Bitcoin did, Hex dropped to like 4 pennies and then consolidated. And now we're at like 5.4 pennies. And so,
and it's funny. I tell people the trend is your friend. Always, the trend is your friend. So
yeah, that's
because we're Bitcoin is programmed to go into 3 to 4 year cycles, right? So this is just another cycle. That's all it is. It's just another cycle. There was the 2013 cycle. There was the 2017 or 2016-17 cycle, right? December 2017. That's when the peak is like $20,000 for Bitcoin. Nobody knew, nobody understood. Like, I mean, there's potential you could see. Now, of course, the next one, we did another run out, but at 60,000, 65,000, right? Peak, which is on 2020, right? Or 2021, this year, right? And so all it is, keep on hodling, DCA for the next 2 years. Sure enough, my prediction, this is my prediction for Bitcoin, in spring of 2024, that's when the halving's happening, right? So we're probably Bitcoin, if it keeps on doing what it's supposed to be doing, you're going to see a 200,000 plus Bitcoin, right? That's going to be the next peak. So, like the bear, it's a bear market right now. So it might do a little W, right? And then it's going to do a sidestep thing, right? And I'm thinking maybe it's going to go 20,000, maybe, it's going to be in that neighborhood, 15,000, 20,000 for a while. That's when you want to buy on the dip.
Yeah, true.
You want to buy on the dip, not at 65,000. That's when you sell. And that's what happened. A lot of people, all the miners, they were hodling, right? They hit 65,000. Let's do it, guys, right? Let's get paid. So they dumped it, right? They dumped it. Some of these billionaires, they dumped their coins too. You could totally tell. Some people are still hodling, right? It's no big deal. It just goes in cycle after cycle after cycle. So as long as you don't, mortgage the house, right? for crypto,
right? Yeah,
margin call, that kind of stuff. You want to stay away from that, right?
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. Like when I first got into crypto, your emotions are kind of like controlling you. So when the price is going up, say just the most recent high, the 65,000, like you see it going up and you see your portfolio going up. And so people tend to kind of buy as it goes up. And then as it goes down, like if you appreciated the asset so much, if it was a lower cost, and you would like be like, oh, this is on sale, like I want to buy more. But instead, for the people generally, because this was myself, when you get in and you see it going down, it's like panic and fear and sell the bottom. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. I mean, the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is, it's gone from 20,000 to 3,000 something hundred. And right now, 65,000 to whatever the bottom ends up being. But that's just all temporary. Like you mentioned, if you can kind of just hold through that cycle and not be one of the people that sell at the very bottom, then eventually it does go up, and kind of each bubble it goes up higher the next time.
It always happens. It goes higher than the previous bubble. So let's just talk like stocks, right? The stock market in March 2020, because pre-COVID, right? It tanked. It tanked, right?
Yeah.
So what we did here, what I did, because what we knew the casinos were going to close, their stock price went to 26. MGM stock went to $26 or something like that, and all the way to $5. That's when I bought.
Yeah.
At $5. You know what I mean? That's when you buy. Now I had a substantial MGM stock already, so yeah, it took a price cut, but I didn't sell. I just bought more on the dip. And then when it did an upswing again, which was now, if you look at MGM stock, I think it's at $28 right now, back and more than what it was before. So, you want to always have your own strategy. People, they talk about paper hands and diamond hands. I really don't care, right? It's up to you. I'm 45. My strategy is way different probably than yours, Brandon, because you got a lot more 15 years to come than me, right? Yeah. So my strategy is different. That's all it is. It's just different strategies. You hodl what you can. I want to enjoy life too. I don't want to just, be greedy and just hold forever and ever and ever either, right? So I'm going to release, at least in my golden years, right? Maybe in a couple of years. I'm hoping I'm preparing now so that I can capitalize on the bubble in 2024. So that's all it is. And, I missed the boat last time. I should have, this last 2 years, I should have DCA'd a lot more but now I know I was wrong. And of course, back then there was not all of these Coinbases, and there wasn't. There was exchanges, but they're all centralized. They control your wallets and whatnot. You had your wallets that you could do cold storage or the hard wallets, right? But it wasn't. It was still not proven. Now it's proven. I think it's now the time it's proven. Now you see a track record since 2013. It's 10 years now. You got 10 years of track record plus actually for Bitcoin. For Ethereum, it's since 2015. So you have a good 6 years of track record. And if you notice, Ethereum is following Bitcoin very, very symbiotic way,
You're definitely right.
And Hex is a whole different story, right? We have 1 year plus of track record, which is great. Just look at that. 1,000x, right? Plus X. That's unheard of, right? Unheard of. Bitcoin didn't do that in the first year at all. I don't think it did, So we're in a good place right now. And then Pulse is coming out too. You want to get on that early. Go in what you can. If you need to get liquid Hex, get some liquid Hex. You don't have to, which is nice. You can do other altcoins like Cardano, or you can sacrifice your Ethereum. You could sacrifice other coins, USD coin if you want. So you don't have all that volatility while you're waiting. It's up to you. Whatever your strategy is, your strategy, right?
I think that's definitely very smart. At the end of the day, the only person that is going to be responsible for those decisions is you. And that's kind of like when you mentioned, and honestly, I know a lot of people were doing it in 2017 where, and even Michael Saylor recently was kind of like or from what I heard at least, was like, oh, talking about leverage and stuff like this. And the second that you start betting like the farm on super high volatile assets, and now you've got like a margin call or like a liquidation rate, now you're kind of just doing the opposite of what it was designed to do. And so, yeah, the way that I kind of see it, to your point, is like, hey, when I can dollar cost average in, I do. And then also at the same hand, yeah, it's not like all of my stakes are, it's not like all of my hex is staked, and it's not like all of them are 15 years out, right? That just wouldn't be reasonable. So like, yeah, you can do dollar cost in and then also dollar cost out too. Say if you've got like, say for example, if you had like, I don't know, say like a stake that was worth like $100,000, just as an example, because that's a very sizable amount. Well, instead of just taking 100,000, hex to USDC order that would probably dump the market, like, kind of ration it out, like maybe, $25,000 sells and stuff like that. Because how much do you really need at once? If you've got such a big pot and such a big like nest egg, well, if you plan on retiring, do you plan on selling just like millions at once? Like, probably not. So to your point about like averaging in and out, kind of.
Right. So like exactly, which, that's part of your financial statement, or financial budget, or you want to create is, okay, so how much money do I have to make every single month, right? I'm pretty comfortable with $6,000 a month, right? So then I can work my math backwards. So if, when I'm 55, which is in 10 years, right? Okay, I need to accumulate maybe between $3 and $4 million, and not all of it in crypto either. Maybe $1 million in crypto, maybe $1 million in stocks, another $1 million in bonds, and then maybe another $1 million or $2 million in property and real estate. You want to be as diverse as possible, right? Because you got all these burst and bubbles, right? That burst and grow and bust, grow and bust. And so by the time you do want to start withdrawing, you're not getting penalized, on slippage and fees, and also the big whales that control the market and all that kind of thing. And you just want to be kind of pretty diversified, so that it's not all one lump sum. And then you got your taxes, right? That you got to kind of like, get a good tax planner once you retire, even now, because you want to plan things out now for the future. And I'm not talking long, like 60 years, right? I'm talking, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 1-year plan? What's your 3-year plan, right? What's nice is in Hex is what's your 15-year plan, right? What's your 5-5 quadruple 5 plan, right? So
I agree.
Right? So like my brother's older than me, by the way, Nick.
Sure.
Right? So
yeah.
He just turned 50 in April, and he's like, man, if we had these tools when we were younger, dude, we would be multimillionaires. But it didn't exist.
Well, and it's so interesting, right? Because Bitcoin hasn't even been around for, more than like 11 years, maybe 11 or 12, something like that. And so the fact that you've got Hex, which is a maximum time lock of 15.2 something years, 5,555 days, it's really something that makes you, like you mentioned, kind of like think about your plan and have a plan. Because if you don't, then you're kind of just like throwing darts blindfolded. And so if you can have a plan, like you mentioned, a 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, 10-year, 12 and 15, stuff like that. Like the cool thing about Hex is it actually makes you think for the future, because most people, they only see like today and right now. They don't, like, they just see what's in front of them. They don't see what's out even a week from now, or a year from now, let alone 15. So it's definitely important to kind of
And
ask yourself where you want to be, and then kind of reverse engineer it from there.
right. And that's one thing about the Hexicans I feel our community is really dialed in with is the long term. I mean, all these people that are 555s, right? You know, they're seeing long term. That's 15-year plus down the road. You know, we're banking on that. That's, you know, your what's like a LTL or locked, right? It's
Yeah, total value locked. Yeah.
Total, yeah, TLV,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
TVL, sorry, total lock value locked. So when you're looking at a coin, right, if you have a lot of coins that are locked up, that pumps up the price. You know, if you look at the biggest LVT or whatever,
Sure.
time locked coins. You know, you got Maker, Compound, Cosmo. You know, but that's the thing. They're liquid, though. You know what I mean? There's no mechanism that if you liquidate in today, there's no penalization. Hex is the only one that I know that it penalizes for bad behavior. So, you know, and then in return gives the staker class a reward for that. So that's the simple difference. And that's what really, when I started understanding Hex, that's why I was like, wow, I'm all in. I'm all in. You know, you got these naysayers, you know, about the OA, and they're gonna get rug pulled after Pulse and stuff like that. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. Okay, sure. There's some certain aspects about Hex. It is centralized. It has to be, right? There so developing the coins, right? So you got the central OA that's creating the liquidity pools on Uniswap, right? When we first started, you know, when it transformed, the transformation phase from Ethereum to the newly minted Hex, that whole thing, the OA was doing a lot of that recycling. Let's call it what it is. It was recycling the Ethereum, but it was not to pump up the price, because if you saw the price, it was not like it. Whoever had the control over it did a good job. My applause. Really, they didn't rug pull anybody. They didn't like shill anything. If you notice, Hex hasn't been like totally how to say it's been kept from Coin Market Cap. It's been gatekept from all of these, most of exchanges, right? They don't have Hex or don't price Hex out. Imagine when it does. You know, imagine when it does, right? So, yeah, you know, some people say there was no recycling on the Ethereum, but if you really think about it, in a way there was, but it was not from the OA. It was from the actual people. So what I mean by that is that when you would go in and transfer your Ethereum to your newly Hex, right? A lot of these people were traders. They were trading it. So it was liquid. They were not staking it, right? So they would, you know, wait for the pump to go back up, and then they would go back into the transformation phase, right? So that's what I mean by recycling it, right? Your Hex.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of that arbitrage opportunity, especially when like Uniswap definitely came out. I know Richard had definitely talked about that, because people were like, you know, Richard, what do you think of arbitrage? He's like, well, it sucks because it takes away from like the people getting in at a better price. And when you mention the let's see, it's like the total value locked or whatever that is. I've got Staker pulled up, like just Staker.app for people that aren't familiar. It's just a free application on your iPhone or Android, but it's saying $3.38 billion is locked up for a average of 5.67 years. And so that's generating a 38.06 APY. And so when you see that stuff, it's like, man, sometimes, like you mentioned, there's naysayers and stuff like this, but this isn't really like a get rich quick scheme or anything like that. It's a reward yourself for delaying gratification. Yeah. And those that it's kind of like voting with your dollar, except the proof of stake itself is showing the value that you have and trust that you have in the system by, locking it for certain amounts of time. And so, yeah, it's really cool. Like you mentioned, when you compare it to Maker and some of these other things, this is actual stake, and the way of locking it and the way that it works is just super unique. I've never seen anything like it. So with Pulse Chain, like you mentioned too, I've had people close to me that have kind of spewed like Hex FUD and Richard Hart FUD since freaking Big Payday at 20% of a penny. And so the other day, I was telling my friend, I was like, they messaged me. They're like, they show like Ethereum versus Hex like on a year, 365 days ago, and Ethereum was up like 200% more than Hex. And then when ETH and BTC took a 50% haircut, I was like, hey, remember that thing that you showed me? And Hex was just way higher. And it goes to show you that it really is decorrelated, and people are treating it similar to how Bitcoin was initially. The slogan that they tried to use was like, oh, now this is not a currency, but it's a store of value. Well, Hex legitimately is a store of value. And with things like Bitcoin, sure, you can time lock it. Like you can do that with contracts, but no one does it because you don't get rewarded. You don't get any interest, any APY for it. So it's really cool that in Hex you can really defeat any of the FUD.
Right. And if you just go to the Etherscan.io, okay, you just click on tokens, and it'll say right on Etherscan.io the top 20 ERC tokens. If you click on that, we're number 6. Hex is number 6. And if you our locked value is actually almost 9 billion. Because if you include what's in the Uniswap liquidity pools, that's locked up too, right? So you got to include that too. Not only the staker class, also what's on Uniswap locked up in liquidity for the pairs, right? That's in a contract. That's on a smart contract. That's locked up. So if you include, that's 3 billion, and with the staker class, just with the Hexican community, but also on Uniswap and also in Matic, if you include in Matic, that's about 9 billion. That's all locked up. It's not fluid. It's locked. So, which is really great. That's a really great place to be in a token. That gives it what gives it stability, right? That gives it the where you're going in. You kind of bank on the DCA, right? You could say you can see the recurring trend, which is on Hex. That's unheard of. Every single month on the beginning of the month, it goes up. It goes up 2x, 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x sometimes. This last one was a 5x, went from 1 cent to 5-6 cents, right?
Yeah.
So, which is insane. It's insane. However, still, because it's locked up, our stuff, that's why we're not all going crazy. We're not unlocking and staking like crazy. Some people are, hey, more power for you. Hey, great. That's a great reward. Thank you very much, right? For everybody, the staker class that keeps in it, that's a reward for us. So, Cosmo, Tezos, Algorand, they don't do that. That's just proof of stake, and that's it through a validator. So very different projects. You got to look into the white paper and what it's all about. How does it counteract? What is the protocols? And you want to do your due diligence, do your education, right?
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong about that. So it's really cool. Let me also ask you, because I know you've shared a little bit about the Bitcoin experience and the Craigslist and stuff like that. But as far as Hex goes, how did you initially get into it? Hear about Richard Hart? What do you what are your thoughts on it? Why do you like it?
It's a funny kind of story. Okay, so actually, I did not know about Hex, the Hex.com. Actually, my first stake was on Toucaneer, Hex.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody knows about Toucaneer.com. It was Trayvon James. I got to give him his props. You know, I was following him ever since BitConnect. You know,
Sure.
people were fudding him a lot. He was one of the influencers there in BCC. You know, I just kept him around because he did have good information. You know, if I'm gonna get rug pulled, I want to know. I want to be in the know. So, you know, he talked about Hex and he really liked it. He so much liked it that he put it on his own website. You know, I don't know if it's him or some of his developers or who knows, right? So I actually staked it in. It was called Hex Max on Tucaneer. That was actually our first how I knew about Hex. But then I started seeing or reading following the Etherscan, and then, you know, going into the coin, you know, really understanding how it works. Then, you know, went into the transformation deck to get more newly minted coins. Started seeing that I could stake directly with the contract through the MetaMask. I love that part because you got to understand, when we were before in BCC, we didn't have that. It was centralized. It was keeping your coins on their website, and when the website went belly up and rug pulled, you couldn't. It was locked up. It was like, sure, you could like maybe go through the ETH. Well, it's because it was not I don't think it was a Ethereum based coin, but you know, it was hard to get out, right? Plus, it was worthless, so there was no exchange. Everybody started. I mean, it was just bad news. It was just rug pulled. All the liquidity pool was rug pulled. It was just devastating. It was kind of like another Mt. Gox, right? So
yeah. Well, like you mentioned even earlier with things like centralization and whatnot. Like Richard kind of answers this question a lot, where things like Steve Jobs or Bezos or just successful companies, say as far as like traditional stocks go, they generally do have a large portion of the shares and whatnot in, you know, the founder's hands or stuff like that. But when it comes down to crypto, the thing that's important is that the decentralization is important on like the network layer itself and like the consensus, but not necessarily as far as like all of the price goes. Like, it's not like it has to be like socialized across everyone, because if you actually think about it, even if that were the case, you would have a lot more sell pressure and just not manipulation, but just fluctuation than you do now. Because with things like Hex, we've got the Ethereum whale, that the OA whale, or sorry, not the OA whale, but just the ETH God whale is what I meant to say, right, that put in like 10,000 ETH. You know, people like that person or that entity, they clearly don't need the money right now. And if you look at the way that they staked it, it's super cool to see people with larger pockets being willing to lock the value in today and realize it 10 years down the future, or 5 or 15. And it definitely benefits the people that are even holding liquid. Like the people that are holding liquid right now, as we talked earlier on the phone, you don't have to stake Hex. And that's the beautiful thing about it is, you know, when I sometimes talk to people about Hex and they're like, oh, okay, well, the minimum, like the average stake length is 5.67 years. Well, do I have to stake it? And it's like, no, you don't. And like, even for the people that didn't, from like an all-time low to an all-time high is like up 1100x. And it's like, man, where else can you get those kinds of gains? You know, even with no risk of locking it up per se, you could just sell whenever you wanted to. So I agree that it's cool.
And that's why, you know, what I love about Hex is it's a triple threat. Okay. I mean, not a lot of them are like that, right? So you got price appreciation. That's one way you gain. You have interest, the inflation interest of 3.69%. That's another when you stake. And then automatically when you stake, you get the T-share price, right? Or dividends. I call them dividends, right? Where you get your daily dividend from other people's bad behavior, right? So, I mean, that's a triple threat. It's, where do you get that in the real world? Not very much, you know what I mean? Maybe a stock, like a blue chip stock, right? You can get a dividend, you can get price appreciation, and, you know, but you don't get maybe if there's maybe a couple of times you'll get a split in your lifetime, right, on that blue chip stock, right? Which is kind of like your big payday, right? What we had, and also, or even more stock. When do they give you more stock? Not many times, So that's what I'm saying. It's a triple threat, and not very many projects have that. I mean, even the ones that try to are trying to do that, they've been flops. I mean, they don't have the community behind it. They don't have the yeah, it's the Hexican class where they're all about the long view, right? It's for these other projects that tried to do it, it's all about the short length one, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned kind of like blue chips and crypto and stocks and whatnot, and there's a big motivation for people that get into crypto, because Richard talks about people really just caring about price go up, number go up, and so there's this big motivation that people get, and myself included, when I first got into like trade, right? You want to go to smaller cap cryptocurrencies and because they've got more potential to pump, but yeah, when it comes down to it, it's been nice to learn from those experiences that I had a few years back, and then just park my money in the asset that we were talking about earlier, because Hex really is like the T-share itself is like the money printer, except it's like the Hex printer. So it's interesting, even though it is the like top 8 right now. There's so much meat left on the bone, and like so many people,
a lot more.
Yeah, they get the fallacy of like, oh, it's already been up 1100x. Well, I'm gonna get into this other thing because I missed a boat on Hex, and it's like, man, no, you didn't. Like, this is just so early.
It's just starting. I mean, it just barely left the port, if you think about it, because only 9% or a little less than 10% is staked. There's going to be a lot more stakers if the big whales and hedge funds and whatnot really get the whiff of this. Even exchanges really understood what it's all about. They would go all in on this. They would. It's just, I don't understand why they don't. Probably part of it is probably FUD, and also probably because Richard Hart doesn't play the game either. We don't want to pay $2 million just to get listed on CoinMarketCap, right? It's like stupid. So let it be organic, right? Let it where it be. If it's a good thing, it's going to survive, right? So, I remember when it first started, you had all this FUD about Richard Hart, about Hex, and FUD after FUD after FUD after FUD. And then now it's like, it's dwindled, right? It's like kind of quiet, they still don't list us, right? On CoinMarketCap, like we're way in the bottom still. They're still gatekeeping, but also they're not saying anything bad either, right? So there was also this pull or push to get in on Coinbase. If I think that's a good thing for Hexicans to do. If you're on Coinbase, put that yellow star right on your search, and hopefully they'll look at that, or the algorithm will start seeing that, and they're going to say, okay, this is people are going to want that coin, so they're going to be forced to list this on Coinbase. So hopefully.
I agree with Tarnweeg's comment here, where he says even if 2 mil, like as far as the not playing games with the exchanges and not supplicating to them, where he says even if $2 million is chump change for Richard, it's the principle. And I know Richard talks about that, and honestly, yeah, I'm okay with the progress that's happened currently. It seems that the dams of the gatekeeping is breaking through, and it really gives people an opportunity, like yourself and myself and just people that we onboard, to still get in on the ground floor of a financial product that's going to be here forever, and like if someone could have gotten you into Bitcoin or Amazon when Amazon was $1 or when Bitcoin was $1, stuff like that. And if you just had the foresight to realize, hey, this is like where the innovation is and where the product market fit is. It's cool that Richard doesn't play those games. He plays the long-term game. He knows that, hey, I'm not going to play these games with Binance where now they can start manipulating, but we're just going to, sit back and they'll eventually either list us or they'll just get left in the dust because there's been a different solution that was created.
So if you look, talking about Binance, they forked with their own network, right? Just like Pulse is going to fork with their own network. Just because it happened because of the gas fees, it pumped up to 51 billion, I believe, their network. So if you see that, Pulse is just go the same route, right? If you think the trend's your friend, we're gonna get on the same train where we're gonna provide better and it's even better network than Binance, I believe. Pulse is. So because it's gonna be a bigger area, it's gonna be for the people, by the people, right? There's no like exchange controlling, right? Binance exchange controlling it, kind of like centralizing it. It's more decentralized. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on Pulse.
Yeah, Pulse is going to be great. I mean, I mentioned it with some friends earlier that just as someone that had the opportunity to be following Richard for such a long time and get in on the ground floor of Hex, now this is the second cryptocurrency that he's created out of necessity, thanks to Vitalik and the ETH miners and in the raising of the S-load function. But to think back to it in hindsight, it's like, man, it's really cool that Richard's not only helping just the Hexicans, but everyone else on Ethereum too, because since Ethereum is great for smart contracts and programming and stuff like that, well, how great is the Ethereum virtual machine if it costs $100 or $500 to do an NFT? Like, even if you don't approve of NFTs and stuff like that, the people should still be able to use that network. So it's cool that Pulse will allow that opportunity, and that will allow people to just have a bigger network effect and the Metcalfe law.
Right. So, I'm doing my due diligence still with the sacrifice phase, going into the Telegram account, really listening to what's going on, giving some input on there. This is the time to say, hey, this is what I like to see, right? And who knows, hopefully they'll listen to you. The developers will listen to you, right? Or at least it makes sense, right? If it makes sense, the plan, why not, right? So it's exciting. It's very exciting. So yeah, tiny fees for game, awesome. That means we can even do more games for the gamers on the that's what was the barrier to entries for a lot of the games to come in on Ethereum, on the Ethereum platform, is because the gas fees are so high, right? So every transaction, imagine if every time you transact on the game, you had all these exorbitant fees. Nobody wouldn't want to be in that community.
Agreed. Well, and speaking of gas fees, for anyone that's not too familiar, so they definitely fluctuate with the blocks getting more full and the cost of Ethereum and the network usage itself. I go to gasnow.org. Let me just show the screen real quick. So right now you can see that let me remove the comment. The fees are very low. I mean, right now it's 20 Gwei to do just a transfer. So it would be $1. Yeah. So the reason I say that is because a lot of Hexicans, even myself with some of the stakes, right? They were just a little bit too costly on the gas to make sense and stake it. So I just waited and then ended a couple of these really small ones yesterday. But the nice thing about it is when we talk about Pulse and what it's going to do for Hex, it's going to be very similar to the early days of Hex where it was pennies, or maybe Pulse is going to be fraction of a penny to do the swaps.
Because if you think about like a gamer, right? They want to develop a game, I don't know, like Magic or Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, right? Some kind of gamer.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Imagine even a dollar. If a transaction is costing you $1, that's too much, right?
Mhm.
For a game, right? So every time you trade cards, trade NFTs on the game, right? Or if you want to upgrade your avatar or whatever, and it's going to cost you even $1 just for the fee. On top of that is the actual price of something like that. Um, that's why you want it to be very small, very, very, very low fractions of a penny, right? So that's what I'm hoping for what's hopefully will happen that way. It's still not out, so we'll see. I believe if more people are going to be doing, like great utilities like that, not only for like, I'm excited. I love games. I love uh, gaming, and like I said, I still love my Atari 2600, right, where it's Pong. I don't know
Totally.
if you remember that. I don't know.
I never played Atari, but when you mentioned Nintendo, I did like, because I got 3 older brothers and I'm 24, and the eldest one grew up in like 1990. But anyways, yeah, Super Nintendo, and then
Yeah, if you look at
Nintendo 64.
the Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Missile Command, those are fun little games. You know what I mean? But imagine if you had to pay $20 per transaction just to play it. That's insane, right? I rather, it's got to be like pennies to play, right? I mean, back in way in the day, well, there's some arcades if you go to Chuck E. Cheese or Brewster's, right? DNB, right? Um, uh, it costs you to play a game, an arcade game, maybe $1, right? And you get all these lives and whatnot. It's got to be less than $1, 25 cents, at the most. So, uh, why not? If you're going to build on a network and have gaming online, right? Why not? Why not? And build a block on a blockchain and have its own cryptocurrency. These are the ideas that I would love for crypto to have more adoption of, right? Even like, think of like, I live in Vegas, casino, right? Casino online, right? So like you got Bet Fury and all those guys, they fled to Tron, from Ethereum to Tron for a reason, because it was lower fees. Also, the transaction speed. That's what they're looking for. Imagine being on a poker game where everybody ante ups. If it was a Bitcoin, just to ante up, it would take a whole day, right? For everybody,
Totally, man.
for all the transactions to clear, to just to ante up. That's where we're going. That's where we have to start pushing the envelope and better case values, right? Better utility on the crypto. Same thing with NFTs. Not only a JPEG, why not a whole movie, right? What about songs, right? Where you can hold and you're the creator of that song or that movie or that documentary, and you can create an NFT on it. That'd be awesome, right? So why not? And that's where you can have your royalties and all that stuff all in one contract, one smart contract, and you don't have to worry about it, and you're getting that royalty every single month.
Well, yeah,
All kinds of use cases, right? I mean, one thing that just came out was insurance, right? Through, what was that? It's Nexus Mutual, Nexus Mutual. Like, they're really implementing insurance, right, for your coin, your cryptocurrency. So,
oh, okay, sure.
yeah. So, it's pushing the envelope. It's pushing the envelope. Now, imagine like you buy your State Farm or Geico car insurance through a crypto. That'd be awesome, right? Where you're like,
Totally.
hey, it's decentralized insurance, right? Where it's not centralized, nobody's controlling it, right? If you get in a wreck, right, it pays you out like right away if you can verify it. It's through some kind of contract wise with the police, the police record, and that's it, and they make you whole again. Why not? I don't understand. There's so much stuff that can be done out there. It's just that, not everybody's putting that business use case scenario. So
Totally, man. Well, and like you mentioned, like as far as whether it was with the internet or just some of these other things, a lot of people kind of denied the use case and whatnot, and that crypto was going to be around for such a while. But the more that, just like with Hex, right, the more that you have something that stands the ultimate test of time, then the more those arguments kind of become less credible.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think that's probably all we got for right now. I mean, we got the a little bit of Vegas talk, a little bit of Hex talk, a little bit of Pulse talk. I know one of the other Hexicans just went live. Gerardo, I guess he's going live with Joe Perry's. I'm not even sure who that is, but if you're cool with it, maybe we can just plug kind of like your website and stuff like that, and then wrap up in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so it's freedomtv.info if you want to look for us. It's tied to all of our social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Look for our videos. We got informational videos, especially on financial tools and financial education. It's all for education purposes. Also, we do have a podcast, a new podcast that we came out with about a month ago, and it's Vegas Crypto Talk. So we talk about just different cryptos coming out, what's new, what's not new, what's FUD, what's not FUD. So, kind of disseminate what's going on in the crypto world. So yeah, you'll look for that in our YouTube channel, and it's freedomtv.info. I'm Tmoney, and we're out.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again, man, for coming on. Real quick, you said for the podcast, that's something that you guys are uploading right now on
that's
Freedom
what
TV?
we're uploading. You could our episodes are on YouTube. The old episodes are on YouTube, so you can find them there too. So
Perfect.
So that's there. So hopefully we can get I'm hoping that we can get a podcast going on the day of the Hexican. We're going to be videotaping it, and especially Crushing the Car. Come on out, participate. If you need anything from us, on the boots on the ground special, requests and stuff like that. I got some people requesting certain things, special items and stuff like that. So sure enough, if we have the power to make it happen, why not, right? So we're here,
awesome.
We're all about the family, the Hexican family, and having a really safe time in Vegas. Where it's a lot of fun. It was not reliving that hangover again.
Totally, man.
Right? That's not where we're about. We're about having total fun, a great time where every year we can come back and everybody's safe and not sorry, right?
Exactly. Do you have an Instagram? Extremely Desirable is asking if you're on Instagram.
Yeah, it's still same thing. freedomtv.info.
Freedom TV.
And just go to our website and just click on our Instagram link. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, cool, man. Yeah, thanks again for coming on. And I look forward to seeing everyone in Vegas. And thanks again for all of the volunteer work that you're doing, your brother's doing, and the other 23 boots on the ground of the Vegas natives. It's gonna be a fun time, and it's always cool when you can kind of like foster that, right? When you kind of make sure that everyone's safe and whatever things that they want to do. So
yeah, we're gonna kick it off at the Mob Museum. I think that was a great venue. It's gonna be in the basement. Then that's Thursday night. Friday night we're gonna meet at the Bellagio right there at the conservatory. We're gonna watch we're gonna take a picture at the fountains, and then we're gonna go right across the street at the Hex Bar and Grill. That's Friday, and then you do your own thing on Friday night. If you want to go to the nightclub, if you want to do whatever, catch a show, be with your honey, do whatever you want to do, right? If you want to go to the nudie bar, that's up to you. And then on Saturday, we're definitely Saturday at 2:00. We're meeting at the Battlefield Vegas to crush the car, and that's going to be exciting. And then right after that, we're actually providing some transportation from Vegas, Battlefield Vegas, to the Nerd. The Nerd is like a bar grill, a bar that's really nice. It has a bowling alley in there, and a lot of fun arcades. And then right across the street is the Heart Attack Grill. That's where we're gonna have dinner, and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, we have a special someone show up.
Hey, that'd be awesome. Well, thanks
that
again,
awesome.
for coming. Seriously, man. Yeah, I look forward to meeting Richard Hart one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again for the work, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
For anyone, his information is down below, and we'll definitely have to do it again sometime. I really appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Our next update is going to be with Maddie next Saturday, June. What is that? June. It's a Saturday at 10:00 a.m. Pacific time. So
Perfect.
It's Vegas time. Okay.
Sounds good, man. I'll retweet
All right.
it and definitely be there. Thanks again.
Okay. Sounds good. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Okay, guys. So just real quick, let me just share the screen because Gerardo, he's streaming, and like I said, since we were kind of wrapping up, we should definitely go visit another Hexican and support another Hexican, right? So
And
that's
burned really bad.
Actually, let me mute it so I'm not talking over him. But yeah, so go see Gerardo's stream. Let me just paste it in the YouTube chat real quick here. So yeah, shout out to him. He's got the website. What is it? Lookintohex.com. So I got a couple different links there that y'all can click on, and that's pretty much all we got for right now. So go support him. I'll see everyone over there, and yeah, you know where to find me, and I'll see you guys in a week.